Listen, I think putting biases aside, there's no way you can deny that this chapter wasn't fantastic. Hype, and Oda's setting it up. The final saga, and he's setting it off with a bang. So let's recap really quickly, all right? Because we had a couple chapters where hyping the revolutionaries, hyping different pirates, telling us what's become of the Straw Hats in the Alliance and how much they've grown from defeating Big Mom and Kaido. Not sure where Big Mom and Kaido are. Basically showing just how many L's the Marines and the world government have taken. I mean, even then, we've seen what they've gone through over the course of the war and how incompetent the Gorosei seem to be from time to time. This is the overall change, and that's why this is the new era. Okay, there's a lot to get into. This had to happen. This was honestly with Shanks pulling up best case scenario. And again, Shanks, I don't know. He's making a claim for that guy of the One Piece verse right now. But we'll talk about it, okay? Because we've all read the chapter and we're all eager to talk about some of the specifics, because Oda even gave us a lore dump and maybe some ships. Did you catch that? Some ships, like. All right, let's get to it. One Piece chapter 1055. Film red Film red promo. Nah. Joking slightly, but this had film red vibes all over it. And it was clear that this was a part of the promotion, not necessarily all promotion because it is canon, but we'll talk about some more film red stuff at the end. Let's start from the top. We start off with some good old hands or branches. Green Bull is fighting against Yamato, Momonosuke, and the Scabbards. Of course, what? Of course, Momonosuke told Yamato to not fight Green Bull because it is his responsibility, considering Yamato's dream. Now, didn't put two and two together, but Momo is a thoughtful kid, thoughtful man-child. He is saying, I don't want you to feel the obligation at all to stay in Wano. I want to show you that the people that will remain can definitely protect Wano, which is, it's interesting in its own right because this confirms that Momonosuke is not going with them. I know for a while we thought Momonosuke could go. My feelings changed after Momonosuke became an adult. Was like, it wouldn't make sense for him to go. The gag doesn't hit the same. We saw it a bit. So he has to stay and he's going to learn. I did think he could go with them and learn how to be a man, but he has some very great Scabbards there. Scabbards wasn't the word I was going to use. Like people that have a lot of experience that can teach him things. We know for Denjiro, he was basically with Orochi for a long time. We have the Dukes. They were ruling their own country for a long time. So Momonosuke experience is not something that he's missing by staying in Wano. So him saying this confirms he's not going with them, but he's so goddamn thoughtful as a child. I'm not even that thoughtful now. Right? He's saying, yo, don't interfere. I don't want you to feel like you have to continuously be the guardian of Wano, even though that's what your devil fruit was designed for, chosen for. You were supposed to be the guardian of Wano. That is not your duty anymore. Go out, right, and fulfill your dream. And Yamato, that we know she was trying to leave, but Kaido did not want her to leave. Still not sure why she introduced herself as the son of Kaido in the last chapter. That's something that I meant to bring up, but is she changing? Is Oda going back? And is she just gonna be, is that what she's gonna say going forward? Every time she meets someone, I'm the son of Kaido. Is it like an intimidation tactic? Like, hey, my dad is a big baddie. Like I'm his daughter, son, whatever. Be scared of me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but that was interesting. However, moving on, Momonosuke and everything he was trying to do, it leaves him with fighting Green Bull and he's getting overwhelmed, naturally. So I was really wary of this. After Momonosuke intervened with the fight, I was like, where's Oda going with this? Because this doesn't necessarily end well for a character like Green Bull. I even said in the last chapter, it's like, Oda is making you hate this character. So once something bad happens, you're not gonna feel anything but glee and joy because this person is a piece of crap. Everything he was saying about prejudice and just how the world works, no one agreed with that. Maybe who's who and that's it, but no one else agreed with what he was saying. So I was like, all right, something bad is gonna happen to Green Bull. I was hoping it wasn't something like Momonosuke defeating him because Momonosuke telling Yamato to stay back. However, Momonosuke did get off a blast breath, which makes me question not only Momonosuke's potential and how he's ever evolving, but also Vegapunk. That devil fruit was a failure? It's doing damn near everything Kaido can do. Flame clouds, blast breath, can fly. What can you not do? It is a perfect Clone, Vegapunk, big capper, big cap. He was lying. That devil fruit is not a failure. But the fact that he completely cloned and made an exact replica, different color, I guess, of Kaido's devil fruit is scary because Vegapunk, he is literally the genius that we thought he was. That's something also to consider. So as we move on, because there's so many different things going on here, Momonosuke lets off a blast breath. And it catches Green Bull, of course, off guard. He didn't expect him to do anything because Momo was just trying to hot breath the entire time. It was failing. This time it worked. And Momonosuke got off an attack. Before that, though, I'm skipping forward. We have Raizo versus Green Bull, right? Of course, the Scabbards are going to take their turns, etc. Raizo versus Green Bull. Raizo uses a fire release. And Green Bull's like, no. He has something called Fireproof Forest, which tells me that, of course, for the admirals and people that have weaknesses and obvious weaknesses, they've created countermeasures for those weaknesses, which makes me wary about what happened in Mary Joa, because now knowing that he has a counter for Sabo, what happened, right? What actually occurred? So Green Bull, more and more, it's revealing to me that he came to Wano because of the disappointment in Mary Joa, right? He had to make it up to Akainu in some way, because Akainu was saying, no excuses, nigga. You messed up. You and Fujitora messed up. Now y'all aren't allowed on the base. For real this time. He didn't say that, but I'd be mad too. You let all of them get away. So now Green Bull, he's in Wano, and they're trying to use fire to cut him down or to burn him up. It doesn't work. And I think this tells me that he has to have Fireproof Forest on when facing someone like that. So of course, if you get hit randomly with fire, it's gonna work. He has to use that ability, Fireproof Forest. So either way, it shows the top tiers of fighting where you come up with countermeasures for your obvious weaknesses, which tells me if Ace would have survived, right? As he went on, he probably would have come up with a countermeasure for the magma that is superior, which Sabo probably will in the future. People are speculating blue fire. But either way, this is an indicator of what's to come. And honestly, this chapter felt like the title was New Era or New Age. This chapter should have been titled, or for me, the title was This is What's to Come, right? This is what's next for our people, our heroes, our alliance, because it goes so much deeper than just Green Bull and Raizo. I promise. If this was the extent of it, I wouldn't even mention it. I shouldn't be making videos on this thing, but it goes a bit deeper. We'll get there. However, Green Bull takes out Raizo. Right? I was pretty happy at that. Ooh. But they're wondering, like, what's going on? He has no weaknesses. How can we overcome him? And of course, Green Bull has a very terrifying devil fruit. Like, even with fire, it doesn't work. You have to really overcome a lot when you're facing him. So we move on and we go away from Green Bull and the fight. We go to something even more interesting than Green Bull and the fight, because this has substance. This has, I guess, end game material, right? It goes somewhere. Green Bull versus the Scabbards, I think, as cool and hype as it is, it really doesn't have any substantive outcome or ending because of what happened in the end of the chapter. And the main reason is something that I don't think was absolutely necessary. And again, we'll talk about it, but here we have Poneglyph. Road Poneglyph stuff, or road Poneglyph, however you want to say it. Interesting stuff that goes somewhere, that has legs, feelers. Yes. But guys, before we talk about the red stones, we got to talk about that red subscribe button, okay? If it's still red, you got to click on it right now, because you may be watching this video, may watch a few videos, don't even realize that you're not subscribed. Look down, click that video, click that button. I mean, if you're already subscribed, drop a like. But no, seriously, let's talk about these Poneglyphs and law and different stuff. At first, we had Sukiyaki and Robin. Like, okay, they're gonna find out different things. And here out of nowhere comes Trafalgar D. Wate La. And Law, when he's around Robin, I said it in my stream, I like when they're together because it feels like they're having adult conversations, meaningful conversations, and everything they talk about typically matter. It's going to be a very serious tone, and everything we're going to find out going forward is going to be related to the Will of D, the Void Century, because that's what Law's goal is. We talk about Law following the Straw Hats to Laugh Tale and why it's relevant. Well, Oda sometimes speaks through Law and his actions. So once Law is involved, you understand what's coming, Void Century stuff, Will of D stuff. And I was really excited when Law showed up here. How did he get it? How did he find it? Who knows? He is broken. OP know me for a reason. We continue. Sukiyaki talks about how they were able to find the Poneglyph in no time because they had a fishman on their crew. I'm like, what the hell? What does that mean? Can the fisherman sense Poneglyphs? Like, can they smell it? Can they like feel it through their gills? Like, what? Explain it to us. He's like, you'll know in due time. I'm like, bro, please don't troll us and go away from this, right? I thought that's what Oda was gonna do. We actually get some more stuff. Come to find out, we go deeper down and we're already below sea level and we see Old Wano, or what is the remains of Wano. Like there's an actual floating island underground. I know a lot of people are referencing chapter 1036, the cover page, which shows like the Straw Hats and, you know, there's buildings submerged in water and people saying, oh my God, Oda's... Relax, right? Oda doesn't have to do that to make this epic, but I can see where you guys are going, but chill out, Gear 5. Like, just let's calm down. All you Gear 5th animals just reaching, right? Just creating stretches of imagination. I see where you're going, though. Okay, I see where you're going. Anyway, this is Wano from 800 years ago. All preserved very well because it is not seawater, it is rainwater. How does rainwater get there? Well, Sukiyaki tells us that at some point enclosing walls were erected. And so with the rainwater, it had nowhere to go, so it all settled there, and then people settled higher on Mount Fuji. The thing is, how were those things erected? Of course, with devil fruits. It's not crazy to think superpowers could do that. We have Pika, who can literally create stone, right? So someone could have had that devil fruit. And so this is obviously a plan, but Oda now tells us opening Wano's borders is an actual act. It is not figurative. It is literal. To open the borders of Wano, you must destroy these pillars, these erected pillars. Sukiyaki also says, if you track deeper, you will find the ancient weapon Pluton lying dormant. It's asleep. What does this tell me? This tells me a very specific thing about Pluton and what it is. I think Pluton could be a submarine. And the reason why I think Pluton could be a submarine is because the person that's finding Pluton is Law. And they're saying Pluton cannot get out unless you destroy these walls. But it's dangerous because you take away Wano's security, but then you unleash the ancient weapon Pluton. So I'm thinking it could be a submarine with nuclear weapons, and this, again, 800 years ago, way before its time, but it makes sense with the ancient kingdom and how advanced they seemed to be. And the person that's with Nico Robin and Sukiyaki right now is Trafalgar D. Warder Law. I don't know why Warder's in his name. I'm not sure if this is relevant, if this is something that ties into what's going on because they're below sea level, and his family is about underwater and discovery with underwater, but for Law doing this, he operates a submarine today. So him going and finding Pluton, which would be a war machine, a war submarine, it fits so perfectly. So that's what I'm rolling with. That's my thoughts on it. It makes sense because the submarine wouldn't be able to get out, right? Unless you get rid of that underwater structure, which most people wouldn't think about when you think about the ancient weapon. So we'll talk more about Pluton and what I think it is in a different video, but I just want to give you guys that bare minimum of what Pluton could be. And I think it's going to be exciting once we actually get it, and Oda's setting it up perfectly. Just chef's kiss, right? This alone makes a chapter 10 out of 10, but then we continue. Green Bull is still fighting against the Alliance. Green Bull says something here that makes sense, where he says, I would not have come here if Kaido was not here, which Oda's giving us perspective again, because for the admirals, for the Yonko specifically, Oda likes introducing or telling us why they're necessary for the people of Wano, and then for Big Mom and the people of Whole Cake. They're deterrents, but they're also balancing mechanisms. Green Bull says, yo, I wouldn't have come here if Kaido was here, right? Kaido's a big baddie. I don't want that smoke. I want to come here, but he's not here, so this opens it up. Now I'm here. So again, it shows why the Yonko are necessary and how they rule the One Piece, well, the New World rather. But of course, you got to take the good with the bad. Because with Kaido, you can get plummeted to the sea at any time if he's drunk, right? With Big Mom, you can get your soul taken and she can just eat you, like, if she's hungry. But this tells me something about Green Bull's character, is that he can be very impulsive and that he did things without acknowledging or recognizing the strength of the Alliance. So for him coming into Wano, he completely underestimated the Alliance, right? But he's also trying to make up for what happened in Mary Joa. So with that, he's already jaded. He's not thinking straight. He's just trying to make things up, or make up for the not casualties, but for the mistakes that were made, because mistakes were made. Either way, hype moment incoming. After Green Bull, is fighting Momonosuke, he's failing with blast breath, like I mentioned earlier. He managed to land one on Green Bull. Green Bull, respawns as a person. He's about to take things seriously. Here comes Shanks. And Shanks, from where he was, still on his ship, sent a hockey signal to Green Bull, seemingly shaking him, right? He was shook to the point that he said, you know what? You're right. But Shanks said, right? Shanks says, I'm not going to call y'all cowards for this. I'm not going to say y'all trash for real. But isn't it a bit just weird to go after worn out saplings after they just made pirate history, right? Like, they just fought 2 Yonko and won. And here you go, trying to clean up on people that have been through the ringer. Isn't that a bit odd, bro? Like, are you that scared of the new era? Does the new age frighten you that much? And listen, Shanks's face alone shook me to my core, right? And I don't know, Shanks said like a hockey-talkie, levels of hype that cannot be contained. Greenbow said, you know what? You're right, I'm out of here. Doesn't look good, but makes sense. You're not beating Shanks. You're not beating Shanks in his crew. You're not beating the Alliance. But my favorite part of the chapter, more than anything, is not Shanks using his hockey. It's not Greenbow defeating Raizo. It's not even finding out about Pluton. It is Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei looking out, watching them the entire time, saying they didn't need us anyway. Right? That moment did it for me. Because it just shows how far they've come. Where they're like, yeah, that's a Navy Admiral, but so, hey, look at where we are now. And it's just so dope, Jinbei. It was a fantastic moment. I love that moment a lot. I love that moment a lot. And it definitely gave me some perspective and just think about just how far we've come, you know? There are some things that I didn't appreciate about the chapter. We had a silhouette of Uta, apparently. What the hell? Uta, I guess, could be canon. Shanks shows up to Wano. Shanks doesn't really do anything in Wano. Some were saying Shanks maybe came to Wano after Big Mom and Kaido were defeated, or hearing about the alliance with Big Mom and Kaido, so he was going to try to stop them by himself, right? Trying to maintain the balance. But he didn't go after Pluton. He's not here for Pluton, right? He's not interested in meeting Luffy. Shanks, why are you here? Shanks like, I'm here to promote my film, right? Film Red. No, but it somewhat feels like that. Even Greenbow feels like a ploy because he didn't accomplish anything. But it's Oda starting the final saga. And I get it. I'm not upset at the process. I'm not upset at what has to happen. But it does feel a little empty. It does ring a bit hollow. Because even Luffy's like, man, that hockey was something. Luffy's like, a familiar face popped into my head. Which is just basically intro for the movie. Like, that's what it feels like. Even the One Piece anime, I think they're going to stop Wano after a bit. And they're going to give us episodes leading up to Film Red. So that's the only thing. That's my only thing when I think too deeply. Just in general, wonderful, fantastic chapter. Not getting into power scaling, anything like that. I think that's much ado about nothing right now. But right now, seriously, Shanks big W. The Admirals, they've been going through it with just what's been happening with the world, and that makes sense because it's a new era, it's a new age. People are stepping into the forefront. Luffy, Sabo, Shanks is there to usher in that new era, that new age, it seems like, right? It seems like he's there to seriously maintain the balance. Does Shanks make a claim for top one? I think so. I don't know what he did, but this shows that Luffy has another level to get to. Zoro has another level to get to. And there are other levels, again, supplementing your own weaknesses, like Greenbow did, even in the loss, right? That embarrassing way that he went out, right? For an admiral, he's showing that the level that he's at, like fire, just having fire doesn't do it. You need more than that. So give me your thoughts, guys. How do you feel about this? Fantastic chapter. I'm not sure where it's going to go from here because, again, the Greenbow stuff is wrapped up. Shanks is no longer there. We can literally move on. Does Oda do that? We don't know, right? We don't know.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.